You may think spending an entire weekend dressed up like it's Halloween at an anime convention is a fun way to spend time, but that experience may just be better in your imagination. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing my friends buying overpriced merch and dressing up at conventions, but aside from that, there's not really much else I enjoy about cosplaying and anime conventions. If you're on the fence about attending your first convention or planning another convention trip in the near future, this video might just help you make that decision. From the less than ideal con conventions, exorbitant prices, and creepy con goers, I have a whole list of reasons you might want to ditch your future convention and cosplay plans. To start off this list a little bit less opinionated and more factual, prices and expenses are a huge reason you should just not go to conventions or cosplay at all. Since I'm talking about both conventions and cosplay separately, I'm gonna start with one at a time. I'll cover cosplay first and then conventions second. So hypothetically speaking, cosplaying could be incredibly cheap. So, hypothetically, of course, let's say you have blonde hair. You could be Dingy from Chainsaw Man without even having to buy a wig. I mean, come on, who doesn't have a white button-up shirt and black pants? I'm pretty sure every single middle school event ever needed a white button-up shirt. So that should already be covered. Black pants, come on, we're all a little bit emo here. So boom, you spent $0 and you look like Dingy from Chainsaw Man. But now here I am. I look like an idiot because I said it's so expensive, you shouldn't do it. And you can do it for free. But what if your most beloved character you want to dress up as has a little bit more of a bizarre hair color with a little bit less common of an outfit, such as Diavolo from Golden Wind? Well, now you have to buy a wig and an outfit. But hold on a second, because conventions are typically 3-day events. So now you need 3 outfits. But hold on again, because these are supposed to be family-friendly events. You can't have yourself looking like a male stripper the entire time. So how about you leave those scandalous outfits for the end of the day when the sun goes down and wear something a little bit more modest during the daytime, because we got to keep it rated PG here. So now you've already spent money on 5 outfits and 5 wigs. And those aren't always cheap. Of course, there's no set rules on how many outfits you need to bring to a convention, or if you even need to wear wigs at all, because nobody likes wearing those. You could even just wear your normal clothes the entire time, or dress as the same character the entire time. Or you could wear more than 5, you could just wear 3, you could wear 7. I've known people that have brought 8 cosplays for a 3-day event. So in reality, there's a very wide range of money you could spend for cosplays for a convention. The choice is really up to you, but it does start to hit that wallet over time. The second reason you should avoid cosplaying is what I like to call trend cosplays. We all know of those long-running series like Naruto, One Piece, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the really old classic ones that have been around since like the 80s. Well, in some cases like the 80s. But what about new series that are currently in the limelight, such as Demon Slayer, Spy Family, Genshin Impact? I know Genshin Impact is not an anime, but it's good. It's a good example for this. Lots of people will buy outfits and cosplays of whatever series is currently popular, even though that outfit will only be relevant for a short time. No, I'm not just trying to insult people for having interests and passions about, different series or characters, leading to them, buy an outfit of a character that they really like. But do you believe that in 3 years, Genshin Impact will still be as relevant as it is right now, and that as many people will still be dressing up in 3 years as there are currently in the year 2022? And I know those outfits are not cheap. Do you remember when everyone and their uncle dressed up as Attack on Titan and Homestuck? While yes, people still do dress up as those, it is nowhere near as common as it used to be. Keeping up with these trend cosplays will cost a lot of money long term. Once again, I'm not saying you can't buy these trend cosplays, the popular ones. I mean, it's popular, a lot of people like it, you probably like it, so of course you want it because you like the series. I'm not trying to stranglehold people into saying that if you don't cosplay old series, then you're financially irresponsible. But someone like Caesar Zeppeli, who's been around since like 1987 or something, and after 5 more years, he's probably still going to be popular compared to a character from a series that's not even 5 years old yet. These trend cosplays will cause another issue aside from your own financial burden. What do you think happens to all these outfits when the series' hype has died down? After that series time in the center stage is gone. Well, of course you could sell the cosplays, but not as many people will want to buy them because the hype is gone. Just like fashion trends in the real world, when the clothes are no longer wanted, they just become waste, and then they get thrown away and sent to a landfill. This video, the purpose is not, cosplay to save the environment, green cosplaying. That's not the point. I'm not trying to guilt anyone out of I'm not trying to guilt someone out of passion by saying they're gonna end the world. Well, I'm saying our man Caesar Zeppeli probably gonna have a little bit longer lifetime on this planet than, Zenitsu's Dorito looking outfit. So, that's the bad part about cosplaying. So let's say you go to conventions, but you have no intentions of dressing up as a character. You know, you're just wearing your normal clothes you already own. That is $0 right there. But hold on, slow down a second. You still have to pay convention admission. Oh, did you see that? I rhymed. So, you know, how much does that cost? $20, $50, $100, $200? All of those are actual admission prices I've seen from different conventions. So you can see that the attendance for some is literally 10 times greater than the price of others. Sometimes, you know, the attendance is just a little fee to get in, but other times it's a huge financial decision for some people. Lastly, to add to this financial list is transportation and hotels. Transportation, it can really vary, just like everything else on this list. Some people will simply drive less than an hour to get to a convention, and some people even take planes across the entire country. Regardless, at the end of the day, or at the end of the convention I should say, the transportation is probably not free. It is something else you'll have to spend money on. Hotels are the same way. Maybe you live close enough to the con where you don't even need a hotel. Or maybe the entire cost is $500 and you're splitting it with like 4 people. It's only like $125 after tax, hypothetically. That can be a lot for some people, but you know, it could be worse. Sometimes hotels can be over $1,000 for a convention. And let's say you're not splitting that price with very many people. That could be a whole lot of money you're spending for a 3-day anime convention. But you know, here we are again. This is something else. It can just vary extremely wildly. It can be free. It can be a boatload of money. But chances are it's still something else you have to worry about. So you can see that money is a real big reason you just should not get into cosplay and stay out of conventions. You could get away with spending $0 and keeping it completely free, or you could end up shelling out over $1,000 for a single convention. When all is said and done, the amount you spend is kind of up to you. But if you want a nice room close to the convention at a large con, you better start saving those pennies. So those money related aspects, you know, that's a quantitative reason about why you should avoid conventions and cosplaying in general. But what about a qualitative reason? The creepy and pervy individuals that you will meet from cosplaying and conventions, you know, that's another reason you should just avoid it altogether. Technically, yes, I could count up all the con creeps I've met and heard about, but they're all so unique in their creepy, weird ways that I'm not sure a number is the best way to describe them. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm not trying to white knight my way into some female admiration right now, but this is really an issue that affects women and feminine presenting people the most. While I personally have had people hit on me and say things about my body, the average woman who cosplays and attend conventions will have it way worse than I could ever imagine, and have also had it worse than the majority of men will ever have it, you know, including myself, of course. Speaking of men, the majority of these con creeps, you know, I hate to say it, but they're usually men. I'm not trying to, you know, the hoe's gonna love this, not trying to get the women to love me, not trying to get 100% female viewership, but it's true. Most of the time, they are men. A fun little way to think about this is not every man is a con creep, but most con creeps, you know, most of the time they're men. You don't have to ostracize every single man you see at a convention, because chances are he is just a normal dude. But when someone starts overstepping boundaries in conversation and getting a little too personal with those questions, it's probably a guy. From high-profile weirdos like Whole Wheat Pete to infamous mega creeps like Kill a Frog, who I have created a 40-minute video about him and his perverted actions towards the cosplay community, not everyone you will meet will want to be your friend, or even will be nice and have good intentions. I've heard and seen of all kinds of whack messages from these con creeps, from calling people they don't even know mommy in Instagram DMs, asking to buy used shoes and socks from cosplayers, and straight up sending nudes in the middle of normal conversations. The majority of con goers, they're cool and fun to talk to, but some of them are just complete fucking freaks. And to be honest, this problem is made significantly worse by social media. Just because you attend conventions or cosplay, you are not obligated to use social media, but chances are that you do use social media. Apps like Instagram and TikTok expose you to a lot more people than, you know, the amount of people that would normally see you. And with more people seeing you, chances are that it's a lot more likely that one of these weirdo con creeps are going to see you. I personally don't get any DMs about people, you know, trying to see my feet, but as I said earlier, it happens to a lot of people I know. Easy contact from con creeps is not the only issue with social media when it comes to cosplay and anime conventions. Lots of people who go to conventions, you know, they have Instagram or TikTok accounts where they'll post pictures or videos of themselves dressing up in cosplay or at anime conventions. And that is not an issue. In fact, it can be fun to interact with other people who do the same thing, who share the same hobby. It's just people using social media dressing up in goofy outfits. But this also becomes an issue in the same way that social media is already an issue. I am not a psychologist, But from one Google search, I learned that multiple studies have found a strong link between heavy social media and an increased risk for depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. Social media may promote negative experiences such as inadequacy about life or appearance. So if you're not depressed, anxious, lonely, likely to self-harm, or have no suicidal thoughts, why not make an Instagram for your cosplays? Well, the last sentence of that quote is the most important one. Inadequacy about life or your appearance. So when you're dressing up as a character, physically making yourself look like a character, I would say appearance is pretty important. When your appearance is the most critical part of the content you're uploading to social media, you can see where these negative feelings about inadequacy and especially your appearance, really come into effect, and why they are so amplified for cosplayers. Maybe you will never develop these negative feelings about your appearance, but you can still get negative feelings in other ways, such as comparing yourself to someone else and the amount of likes or followers they have, wondering why people don't leave as many comments on your posts compared to someone else. It's almost inevitable that you will end up comparing yourself to others in some way or another when using social media. Another problematic layer to cosplaying on social media is what I call the cosplay model industry. These are people who have amassed a large following on social media who constantly post cosplay content. Alone, this is not an issue at all. This, it's a fun hobby for people. Who cares? They got followers. Okay, who cares? But it becomes an issue when these people go above and beyond to edit themselves to the point where they're unrecognizable and have an appearance that nobody on this planet could realistically obtain. Posting pictures of yourself in cosplay or at a convention is normal and can be a fun way to show off the hard work you've done and share the memories you've made. Posting pictures of yourself alone in your room, there's also nothing wrong with that. Most cosplayers would agree that those are fun activities. But when you spend hours editing yourself, changing your appearance into your own ideas of perfection, I'm not sure very many people would say that's fun. It's likely creating more insecurities for you in the long run than it is actually making you feel better about your appearance. So when you upload unedited pictures of yourself on Instagram, then you see these models that go to extreme lengths to change the way they look and get loads of attention for it, you're probably going to find something that you're a little bit insecure about, whether you really want to or not. The next reason you shouldn't cosplay or attend anime conventions is a unique one, as I'm not really qualified to talk about it. I debated even including this reason, as I don't know the best way to talk about it, as I said, because it doesn't really affect me, even though it does affect a lot of people. I don't really have a better term for it other than race issues. No, I don't mean there's like a race war at anime conventions, but there is still a surprising amount of people who get all bent out of shape when they see somebody of one race cosplaying a character from another race. Okay, enough with social media. We all hate it anyways. Something else that can really make or break your anime convention is the hotel that you book. There's some obvious things like price, that I discussed earlier, but also distance to the convention, how big the room is, how many people you're sharing the room with, how many beds there are, if the air conditioning is busted, if you're on the very top floor and you got that 7-minute elevator wait. But the worst part about convention hotels is the booking process. Luckily, most conventions, they have a hotel discount, which lowers the hotel's normal booking price. But booking can still become the biggest nightmare of the entire convention process. When it comes to those large conventions, those huge ones, you only have seconds to book your room. Your heart will be racing, sweat running down your face, fingers trembling, eyes twitching, acid refluxing, just for the hotel's website to crash for 30 minutes and you never get a room. I'm looking at you, Anime Weekend Atlanta. If I magically got every convention hotel I ever wanted, my life would be like a little bit better. I would be a much happier person. The last point I want to make in this video is about the convention living conditions. No, I don't mean that the conventions are like a refugee camp. I'd compare it more to a day-long Walmart trip or like a hike indoors. There's not many accommodations when it comes to conventions. The best food you'll typically find is food trucks, but those are usually overpriced. But then you also have, concession stands, which are also overpriced. The best deal, of course, is vending machines, but nobody wants to survive off of Frito-Lays for 12 hours straight. It goes the same to get anything to drink. Seating at conventions is available, but it's usually extremely limited, so get ready to sit on the floor for a long time. There's bathrooms, of course, but a bathroom at an anime convention, it's typically as horrifying as it sounds. So when you attend conventions, you will quickly learn that physical comfort is very low on the list of expectations. That was the last reason on this list of why you shouldn't cosplay or attend anime conventions. Am I going to take my own advice? No. I'm still going to go to conventions despite my constant bitching. It can be a lot of fun even when everything goes wrong, and sometimes everything going wrong is the funnest part. If there's any reason you think people should avoid cosplaying or anime conventions, please let me know because I would like to commiserate about it. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you want.